Brand Culture Collective is joined by three creatives from a design background here to talk about branding, creativity, and culture. Joined by myself, Delaney.
Rondell.
And Sam.
So what are we going to talk about this week? Like, what are we talking about?
So you know what I've been watching? I've been watching that Netflix show called Buy Now.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just they've been talking about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you see like UX, why people buy things, why people are so hooked on things, like TikTok. You already seen what happened in America.
Oh yeah.
They were upset, you know, when Trump took away the TikTok. So yeah, that's what I've been watching, man. Just getting a bit of insight. You already know I dibble dabble in the UX space, so yeah, it was good. What have you two watched it?
Yeah, I watched it as well. I think for context for people listening and watching, well, it's about how these big brands are tricking their consumers into buying more, consuming more, and like the tricks that they're playing on the audience and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say in terms of the benefits of like doing stuff like that? Obviously it's a lot of data, but then some people might say, you know, it's kind of like in breach of people's rights in terms of getting people. So it's almost like a drug, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying?
You know, I think it's like, you know how like traditionally when we're taught graphic design, obviously that's what we study.
Yeah.
We're always looking at like how design is used as a tool for good.
Mm-hmm.
But like this documentary shows us how design and branding are used negatively.
Yeah. It definitely highlights like the negative, like tricks and deceitful side of design. And I remember what's her name? I can't really remember her name, but I remember the Amazon lady. Yeah, she spoke about her years working with the company, you know, and she literally sectioned her life's work, I guess, through Amazon and broke up each section and showed how addicting it is. Like, I think when they created the one-click method, it was so that consumers would think that it's easy, you know, and it's just that making it easier for your brain, for everyone to start thinking like, oh, okay, cool, I can get this. I think the idea was actually literally, I can get it by the click of a button and it would be sent home, you know, it would be sent straight to my home. And I think when we use that theory, it's actually scary to think that, personally, I'm an Amazon shopper, you know, and subconsciously, I don't think of it, but I do think of it. Do you see what I'm saying? So I do think, okay, I'm on Amazon. I would go on Amazon as opposed to eBay because I know it might be quicker. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it does work, you know, it's quite good. And when we see how they actually go about doing it from a design perspective, UX perspective, it's quite interesting to see what they do. So yeah.
Touching it. So basically, from a UX standpoint, when you're kind of trying to learn about a user, obviously you kind of look at the data. So you look at what they like. As you already know, Apple kind of got in trouble with the voice thing. So the phones actually do listen to us. So you might say, look, I need to go and get something from my house.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it's already listening. So then you start seeing the ads, things start popping out. So the Amazon thing is really, it's interesting because a lot of the times, and I think with Amazon as well, because they've got such a good delivery in terms of you can get something tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that it's just easy, just click on Amazon Prime. So when they learn a lot about people, so that from a UX standpoint, they learn about people, they push the products in your face. They might even recommend. So this is how good the data is.
Yeah.
So you might buy something and they will pair items together. Yeah. So they'll say, look, based on the research or what other people have purchased,
they'll provide suggestions.
You might need this as well. And you're like, oh, no, I didn't even know. I need this too. Yeah. And then you start getting it. And then before you know it,
bought 5 products.
Bought like products you didn't even know. I mean, sometimes it's good because, you know, it's about educating the user to help you. But there's a little trick there. There's a little shift because it's like, I'm trying to trick you, but I'm trying to take your money.
Exactly.
And at the same time, I'm trying to sell things that you might not even need.
Yeah, it's that whole marketing thing, isn't it? It's like
it's there to just, it's the hook.
Yeah. it's how it's presented to us as well, because within that documentary, there's a lot of graphics that are showing like the waste and the overconsumption of stuff that we're not really paying attention to.
Yeah.
But us as consumers, or we might be a bit more sensitive to this because we work in this space and we know how things are sold to people. But people think that they're buying this at their own free will. But like design theory and like all of these, they've got like a very strong what do you call it? Like their personas. It's like they fully understand their customer. To the point that where they're manipulating us to buy what they want us to buy. But we think it's our own free will. It's like that thing, it's like do designers need to be more ethical within the processes of working with these companies? Like it's that balance. Like how do you make sure that you're doing the work that you need to do within the company? But also stand with your own morality.
Designers just want to get paid.
You think so?
Yeah, I think most designers, they pay good salary, right? You know what I'm saying? So most designers just want to get paid. If you're doing a good job to make something do what it's supposed to do, you're doing your job. I mean, of course, when you watch the documentary, there's people that are going like, "Oh my god, I didn't know I'm damaging people's lives." You know, after you received your salary, you know what I mean, and after you got fired.
Some of these cases we've seen them do it years after, right?
You see these things just happening. But the point I'm trying to make there is that sometimes you don't realize the bad you're doing until you've done such good work, and then you step back and you go, "Wow," because then you start seeing it internally. Maybe like your kids.
You don't realize that you don't care.
The perfect example of that, was the guy who worked for Adidas. The guy who worked for Adidas. He worked strongly as alongside Kanye. He worked alongside Kanye. They build a strong. What was his? I don't know his name. What was that? They build a brand to get like. I think he was part of the Yeezy. The actual success of Yeezy, you know, him and Kanye work simultaneously together, and again, they've made the actual product seem inaccessible. They made it seem very exclusive. You know, they've branded it and positioned it in a way where you had consumers craving these trainers that were very new, very revolutionary, very different in the market compared to other conventional trainers we've seen. And I think his exit was obviously with Kanye's dismissal from Adidas. He was someone again who stepped down from Adidas as well. So as much as he seemed like it was from an ethical standpoint, I think it was just after cutting ties with the actual brand. It felt, to me, in my opinion, it felt like because he cut ties with the company, he then felt a grievance there. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think.
You see that thing about like exclusivity, and that even with using the Yeezy brand under the Adidas umbrella is a strong one there, because even aesthetically, the way that the Yeezy logo is set up and like how it looks. It's positioned to be akin to maybe like a Paris or one of those like European fashion brands. Do you know what I mean? And like we might look at it like and just think, oh yeah, this is just Kanye's expression, but no, that's like thought about. That's not like it's not by accident. It's by design. You know what I mean? And that's one way that design has been used to manipulate us audience to have a different perception of whatever people are trying to sell us.
Yeah, when we look at the what they do in the from a design perspective, and how they brand the Yeezy brand, it's literally positioned so consumers would have this thought in their mind like, okay, cool, it's high end, it's not conventional, it's not the normal Adidas trainers, it's a bit a tier up, you know, it's a tier up almost. It's matching with the probably Balenciagas, I'd say, you know, it goes in line with, you know, like Saint Laurent.
So how would you say that ties into that? How do you say that ties into that getting the people amped up, getting the people excited to? Because we're talking about exclusive being exclusive, right?
Yeah. So the brand plays a massive part to it. You know, how they build up the aesthetics of it. You know, the story behind it. Obviously, they're the marketing. They're leveraging Kanye's success. However, Adidas is doing new things in design. I think that guy obviously played a fundamental part in the aesthetics of it. Obviously, the look and feel, and you know, the consumers loved it. And I think from a branding perspective, I think personally the product was quality. They were doing innovative things with the packaging, again, making it simple. You know, as much as they talk about the consumerism, I think they were doing new things too. They were doing somewhat ethical things from a design perspective. Like the packaging, it was less, you know, intense. It was more minimal. Yeah, it was more minimal. Yeah.
That's true, 100%. But my thing is, how do they get the people? How do they get the people enticed? How do they get the people hungry? Because from this perspective, I can say, when it comes to resellers, right? So when it comes to them bringing out Yeezys, I remember when they first brought it out, they didn't bring out a lot of Yeezys at first because they're trying to create a supply and demand. So that's a smart tactic already. And then what that allows you to do already is shoot up the price. And anyone who buys that now becomes valuable. You know, I used to resell. Thanks to, you know, the training game. But yeah, so you start to kind of create a demand there. And then the people are ready, oh my God, because like, you know, it's kind of a culture of a thing where, you know, it's even happened with the Jordans. So when someone has it and someone says to someone, oh, where can I get that? You can't get that because there's only a few that's come out. So already you've created a demand. So then what starts happening now is they know if they roll out a big number, it's going to sell.
Yeah, supply demand. That's part of the brand as well. That's baked into all of these.
But most of them are copying that. Most of them are copying that because.
Yeah, but they're creating an illusion of exclusivity. But that's from a back-end perspective. So, like in the warehouse, they've probably got like 7,000 pairs of Adidas. But from a brand perspective, they're making it look like they've got 200 pairs.
Yeah.
You know, but in terms of from an aesthetical design perspective, I think their brand, it's my subjective opinion. I think that Yeezy done great things, from a design perspective, even in the industry, because we see it launched other trainer like Crocs,
I don't like how Crocs.
But it became normal. It became standardized from the design. The design became accepted. The silhouette, the shape of it, the shape of it is now accepted in households because of the Yeezy slides,
the perception of it. It changed the perception of the whole market and the whole industry. But like on the thing of that, like there's another brand that does this, and we all opt into it without knowing that we're being controlled by them. It's Apple,
right?
It's like that's a brand.
That's a perfect brand to talk about.
Yeah, like we're always
because can I say something? No, I'll let you finish.
No, because like within education, Apple is always like the number one brand. You want to be like Apple, you want to work like this. They've got perfect typography, they've got perfect aesthetics, everything's perfect. Do you know what I mean? But that's all in like effort to control the way that we perceive them
100%.
and buy into their products.
100%. And you know what? Let me say something. I'm going to talk about it. So it's crazy because would you say? So I'm going to ask you the question. Would you say that the way Apple is right now in terms of like their products, when they keep making new products, would you say there's a lot of differences to their new products?
No, obviously.
So like if they bring out an iPhone,
obviously not. No, in my opinion, no. From a tech, from a design into like physical actual product perspective, no. But from a tech perspective, yeah. Like the technology. Well, the tech actually. But
I think it's the opposite.
The opposite.
Because if you think about it, when we were young, growing up in the 90s to the early 2000s, when they brought out a new product, it was new. It was new. Do you see what I'm trying to say? But what they've gotten away with, just like Delaney said, they're so powerful, perfect, everything. So all they're doing is the same thing with the trainers. They're holding back on some of the things.
For sure.
Let me tell you, I bought an iMac in 2022. I spent about 4K on it, and had this top spec.
Right.
and they brought out an iMac 2024, they started removing shit from it.
Yeah.
Because they know people who don't know about these things, who are focused about the brand, are going to buy into it.
For sure.
Now, my other point is, another friend of mine told me, he's been telling me something, and I just didn't get it because I'm so brainwashed in terms of marketing.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to phones and cars, we might talk about Tesla, the Apple.
Yeah.
And he was like, Simon, do you really think Apple and Tesla's the best electric car in the world? I said, yeah. He said, no, they're not. China has better electric cars.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And China have better phones.
Yeah.
Than iPhone. But it's crazy. But exactly. But it's crazy because I don't want to bring Trump into. I don't make it political. But the world we live in has made it seem like if anything's made in China, it's fake, it's rubbish, it's fugazi.
It's the perception of China.
But they go and get. This is So I'm going to making it political. Yeah. The materials are from Africa and it's made in China. All they do is they market it to you like we're number one. That's it.
What they want to Apple is also for you to buy into their ecosystem. Yeah. So they would intentionally remove the headphone jacks for you now to buy the AirPods because the AirPods is the top selling product in Apple, not the iPhone. You know, So they just design stuff to now for us to buy into, and I'm mad with. Be honest, personally, is that I'm an Apple consumer. But I would also like the option to have a headphone jack so I can use my Sony XM, whatever XM, my latest Sony headphones.
You made another important thing, which I think they win the ecosystem.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I want to leave Apple sometimes.
Yeah.
But I can't because of the ecosystem.
Yep.
Yeah. I got an iPad, I got an AirPods.
It works so well right together. Yeah.
But that's all part of their brand ethos and their brand identity. It's like sometimes we might look at branding as like it's just the logo, it's the typography, the colors, and all of that stuff. Yeah, but like, it's the strategy behind all of those things. People are not. These are the things that we're not seeing, but we're buying into subconsciously.
Exactly. Like so, they won't. Have you guys noticed? Yeah, they won't say AI. They would call it Apple Intelligence. Apple never uses the term Apple AI. Because it's brand. In none of their keynotes, nothing. Yeah, they use Apple Intelligence. That's what they're using.
Content writing or something like
that. Yeah, they just don't want to associate themselves. I think. Yeah, they just don't want to. Yeah, they don't want to. I don't know the reasoning, but it's part of that intentional branding.
Yeah,
you know.
It's intentional.
That's what it's about. So, and I think that's what a lot of big brands do. They are able to like.
Yeah, it's very powerful.
Yeah. You know what else? In that documentary, there was a thing about greenwashing. Do you know what that is?
No, go and explain it.
It's like basically you might get a company that's speaking about them being good for the environment and they're eco-friendly and all this stuff, and that's the way they present themselves. But behind closed doors, they're putting the same amount, if not more, rubbish into like landfill and stuff like that.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like that's another thing that we buy into. Like we've got like a big recycling movement. Like everyone's trying to do their bit for the ecosystem, innit?
Yeah.
So like when we buy certain brands because we feel as though they're better for the environment and they're going to recycle, but behind closed doors, they're doing the same practices that they're condemning. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
That's greenwashing because they're not actually being.
It's the same thing with what companies do with charity, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Charity's a tax write-off.
Yeah.
So it's business, isn't it?
It's charity washing, but that's another thing. That's another branding thing as well. Like that we don't really pay attention to.
Right.
I hear it still, 100%.
Because there's aesthetics within greenwashing. There's a certain type of aesthetic that you will see. Obviously, it'll be green. Like it'll be like a natural cardboard material. You know what I mean? Like it might be like handwritten calligraphy script.
Yeah.
All of this stuff to make it feel more grounded and earthy.
Yeah.
It's a money thing.
Money.
Everything. It's like design, is a tool for like business growth.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
For sure.
Strategy.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Yeezy thing, right? The products, obviously, before the actual box, like if you look at Jordan brand box, it would have like gold Jordan, to signify excellence, etc., etc. They have writings, probably even signature on it, right? Like, I don't know, the Irwins or something, like, you know. But now, for instance, Yeezy, Kanye, he said, okay, cool, let's have a brown box and just have Yeezy on it.
Yeah.
And, you know, no special paper. You'd have packaging, you'd have like whatever color the Jordan brand, like, you know, lots of packaging, extra pair of laces. No, you just have a brown box. That's it. But is it an ethical perspective? Is it from, no, I think it would be a business perspective.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's cheaper.
But someone's thought, okay, cool. How can we design this a way that we use less packaging, but speak about it in a way where we're saying we're going after the environment or we're looking after the environment, but it's literally just about saving money. So designers nowadays, like, we're like, there's tools. We are the tools to be used when it comes to saving business money.
Yeah, but let's say so ethically, how do we feel now as designers? Like, if a company approaches you and says, personally, like, and says, hey, let's design these Yeezy trainers, but let's simplify, let's make it more minimalistic, you know, and this is our budget. You still gonna design it, or knowing what you know from an ethical perspective?
If I'm trying to get paid.
All right, check this now.
But what are we talking about here? If I'm doing something now,
job. Yeah, it's your job. It's your role.
Apple,
like the lady in the Amazon, like
Apple, the products and making things rubbish, and
intentionally.
Yeah, that's a different story. But if I'm designing trainers.
Yeah, that's
like it's almost like in the doc here where the Amazon lady, they've sent her the messaging, make it easier for consumers, and almost brainwash them or trick them into
All right, cool. Everyone wants to grow in their industry and you want to do well, like, financially. If you're approached by a company and they say, okay, cool, we need you to design this product, right? The branding for this product. But basically, when we produce this product, one in every 2 workers die.
Honestly, I'm not doing it.
You wouldn't do it?
No.
How much would you do it for?
I won't do it. But that's what I'm gonna do. I won't do it, bro.
I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. No. But if
trainers, so Apple people do that.
Exactly.
That's the reality. That's the reality. Yeah.
But trainers, actually, people can die in trainers as well.
People can die.
Don't be ignorant.
There's sweatshops. It's sweatshops, right?
People to do it. Back, I think even like in Vietnam or sometimes to get people
illegally underage people.
In India, who got in trouble because they. Let's not be ignorant because there's things happening. But if I have,
the brand Shein,
I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. I'm just basically saying, if you're coming to me with information that I know, obviously we all do research on companies. Then if you seem all good, then I'll do it. But I'm gonna do my research and
you're gonna actually research.
I'm
not research. As long as they don't mention death from an ethical perspective, I'm doing it.
I would. But I would still.
You do it.
No, I wouldn't do it. No, you're trying to trick me now.
No.
Would you think about it?
So if
paying design job,
from an ethical perspective, obviously, if you mentioned there's certain limits of like morals come into play, isn't it? So like if it's like death and etc. But if you send me the message, okay, different like things come into play when you talk about morals. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So it's how exactly. So like, for instance, a bank does different things. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So it's like, or I don't know, a fashion brand like we're discussing. So it's like, how far do you want to go with moral, like aesthetic morals in design? Like if you're working for the P website. Let's say you're working for a P website. Adult website.
Would you do that? Would you? Yeah, exactly.
Would you do that?
I actually did get a job where they wanted me to do like a
adult website.
Website.
Yeah.
And I thought about it, and I said I don't want to do it because morally it felt wrong.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I would've did it.
Why do you think?
First of all, it's not work that I thought I could share on my portfolio.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? And it's them kind of roles that you get kind of stagnant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Obviously, there's probably a lot of money in it.
There is, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, there's lots. Yeah.
I did actually turn that down.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's strong though, because like within the industry that we work in, like opportunities, there's a lot of opportunities, but there's also not a lot of opportunities, right?
Yeah.
And like sometimes you're presented with stuff that might go against it. So you might be mad religious.
No, I'm not religious though.
No, but not you. I'm saying, like, say someone might be very religious, right?
Yeah.
And then an alcohol brand might come to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean?
There's to each designer, there's obviously morals come into play. Do you know what I mean? I'm working on gambling brands, for instance. I'm not afraid to hide certain things, but at the same time, how bad is it because it's doing the same thing that other brands do? For instance, like, I don't know, probably a bank or like, do you know what I mean? It's different. Like, you need to look at, like a crypto company. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how would you? What your perception of morality comes into play? Yeah, what's your morals? You know what I'm saying? As a designer.
Let me say this last question to kind of wrap it up. Yeah, would you say? So, if I'm watching that documentary, would you say the apps that we're using today, such as TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, would you say they are helping people or they are affecting people? If you had to weigh it up, and the dating apps? You can throw the dating apps in there as well because there's some serial people on dating apps.
They're not designed to help people. Let's be real. They're designed to make the businesses money. And there might be a benefit to the end consumer. You might get what you want quickly, or you might go on and meet the love of your life or whatever. But like, they're not designed for you. They're designed to exploit you.
So let me just quickly say, so this goes based on what do you call it?
Greenwashing.
So this is like the greenwashing thing. They present themselves
exactly
as this thing, but they're really not that.
Yeah, but most brands do that though. Even like we're saying, even the most brands that position themselves as like good brands, like charity, for instance, then you find out the dirty secrets, you know? So like most companies, most brands, again, it depends. Your morals, come into play. Like I think, it just depends on you as a designer. What you're gonna do, what you're not gonna do.
You could choose morals or money when it comes to design.
I'll leave it on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, if you guys agree with us, you disagree with us, you agree with one of us, so you don't. Let us know.
Let us know.
Some of them hell will do it for the money, man.
Like, share, subscribe,